Hey guys, Hacks here with a quick update on the Helium network. Today, July 7, Validators just went live, I believe at around 10 a.m. PST. I've got some updates on what's currently happening with the network, some of the issues, as well as the increased earnings which we'll be getting. So to start, you can see that the Validators went live. There was some issues with the consensus groups and the transition to Validators. The election time went up quite a bit, but then fell down. You can see on the Helium network status that the developers found some sort of fix to the current issues. However, at this time, the Explorer, the app for Helium, API, basically everything is showing old data and is currently stuck. And then the actual blockchain itself is having issues with asserting payments, burns, basically anything that uses data credits right now is stuck. So today, on top of that, during the whole transition to Validators, Armin, who is the owner of FairSpot, he's a big community member in Helium in general. He's very active, and if you don't know what FairSpot is, it's basically a service where they send you a free Helium hotspot, and then they let you keep 70% of the earnings, and then take 30% of your earnings as payment. And then after, I believe, a few hundred days, you're actually able to fully keep the hotspot and get 100% of the earnings for yourself. But anyway, so the interesting part today was that Armin had a thread on Twitter where he was basically covering the updates and the transition from consensus groups to Validators. And he covered some of the issues that happened. However, he also talked about what we can expect going forward now that Validators are live. One of the things he mentioned is that in the coming days, we will likely be going from, basically we will get an increase of around 4x to proof of coverage activity. So in other words, we will be making a lot more in terms of earnings, and it will be a lot smoother. So let's say before you were making maybe 1 HNT per day, the next day you're making like 0.2, then the day after you're making like 4 HNT per day, quite inconsistent in terms of rewards. However, now that the Validators are up and they're taking the slack from the consensus groups and are able, with the increased hardware capacity and the better internet speeds and everything like that, to offload the network and make it go a lot faster, we should be seeing more proof of coverage activity as much as 4x. So that should be great for earnings. Hopefully we do actually see that, and hopefully we do see these more consistent earnings as a result. On top of that, Armin also talked about who stands to benefit the most once Validators are live. I kind of talked about this in my previous video when I did my deep dive on Helium, that the network was currently really slow and you were seeing some pretty inconsistent rewards as a result. However, he kind of confirms what I was talking about, that once Validators go live, we should see more consistent earnings and maybe even more earnings in general. So he mentions that all miners will stand to benefit because currently the HNT mining rate is around 20 to 30% below where it should be. So in other words, once Validators are live, they're picking up the slack of the network and make it move faster. We should be getting maybe 20 to 30% more rewards. So that's really exciting. And it should just make sure everyone is getting consistent and fair rewards. He also mentions that miners with 20 plus witnesses should actually be able to get rewards for that. I've noticed that I have a miner in the city, which sometimes it beacons out and it gets like 20 to 26 witnesses, and sometimes you just don't, the witnesses aren't on there, right? It beacons out and it doesn't get any witnesses. Maybe another time it beacons out and gets 26 witnesses. So anyway, basically, if you are in a really dense area and you're witnessing more than 20 different hotspots, you should be getting more earnings for that. And you will not get dropped because the network is slow. So that's also really exciting. So yeah, hopefully we do actually see these increased earnings. It definitely is very exciting that we're not only going to be getting more proof of coverage activity, but we should also be seeing a 20 to 30% increase in our earnings. So moving on, I did talk about the current issues with the Helium network. I mentioned it earlier on the Helium status page, but right now, basically, some of the validators are stuck on a certain block and they are not able to participate in the consensus groups. And then on top of that, the app, the wallets, everything basically is stuck. And a lot of the data you're seeing is stale as well. So right now, if you try to do any sort of thing that requires DC credits, such as asserting, updating your location, anything like that, it probably will not work. So just be aware of that. And I believe the Helium team is working on a hotfix right now for this. And hopefully within the end of today, or maybe the next few days, all of this is resolved and everything is flowing smoothly. So we'll have to see, guys, but that's basically it. Just a really quick update. Wanted to get this out to you guys, and please be sure to like and subscribe. I'll keep doing Helium update videos when there's something important happening, and I'm also working on some deep dives for other projects right now, so make sure you're subscribed for that. And until next time, see ya.